Hey, we're getting pretty excited. This is Charlene 7 with reasons to go on Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady. So, Virgin Voyages has taken on the endeavor of opening a cruise line, and they have launched their first ship called the Scarlet Lady. And I guess they took control of her on February 14th. So she's making her way to Miami, and in late March and early April, she will start sailing out of her home port of Miami, Florida.
And we're going to be there the second official week
Yeah.
that she'll be sailing.
Second official sailing of the Scarlet Lady. So we came up with Charlene seven reasons why you would want to consider a Virgin Voyage for your next cruise. So they they're trying to disrupt the cruise industry. And one of the things that they're doing is you can get a little bit of sticker shock when you look at the price, but wait until you see what that price entails. So first off, gratuities are included in the package.
If you haven't been on a cruise, you go on, you pay your price, and at the end of the cruise, you get this bill submitted to you, and you go, oh, holy cow, I didn't think there were going to be all these extra charges. Some of those are your bar bill, and that you may have expected. But the gratuities for your room staff and the other staff on the cruise ship may be something you weren't expecting.
Room, right?
Yeah.
So that can be a big surprise for new cruisers to get that bill at the end, which is why a lot of times people are like prepaid gratuities, that sort of thing. So apparently, Virgin is taking care of their staff. Gratuities are part of your base pay. You will not have to worry about adding a tip on to the end of that. Likewise, Wi-Fi package. A basic Wi-Fi package is included as a part of the base price of the room. And we're not necessarily big Wi-Fi people. In fact, a lot of times we go on cruises to turn off the world. But I know probably now that we're travel consultants, we'll probably do a lot more.
Instagram generation, you're going to want to have your Wi-Fi so you can show all your friends what a great time you're having.
And all those of us olders that still like the Facebooks, we will be posting things probably there too, especially on this very exciting new endeavor that Virgin Voyages is undertaking. And also basic soda package. So most of the cruise lines will let you have water, like just normal drip coffees, juices that aren't necessarily like fresh squeezed juices, waters, teas. But Virgin is kind of turning that up to 11, and they are making basic soda packages as part of the deal. I think Disney may also do that too. Soda is included, but it's just like it's kind of a nickel and dime thing that I think a lot of people find annoying, especially if you're a soda drinker. We're not big soda drinkers, and a lot of times I'm actually a big tea drinker, but I like fresh tea, so I a lot of times take a tea bag, hot water, and a glass of ice, and I make iced tea for myself because I like it fresh. But that's just my thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things that cruise lines will make optional. Maybe people don't like to drink soda. I guess some people don't like their sodas. But for a lot of people, that's a must.
Yeah.
And so this package that gets added on is something that you have to really consider when you're looking at the total cost of what your cruise is going to cost you.
Right.
Virgin has taken that off your mind. You don't have to think about it.
Exactly.
It's part of the base fare.
It's part of the main fare. Another thing that they do is, and kind of an interesting concept, is there's no main dining room. There are over 20 dining venues on the ship. They are, I think some of the specialty dining you may go and get a reservation or have to wait in line for it, but it's like a smaller venues. There's a food hall. There's like a Korean barbecue that I'm dying to try. So it's more kind of street food kind of atmosphere and different little places to eat on the ship, which we will take pictures of all when we get there.
If you have a food hall in your town, it's going to be something that's familiar to you. For those of you that don't have food halls yet in your areas, I bet they will be soon because it's kind of like the thing now.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
I know in Raleigh we've got two, maybe three. Is there a third one coming? Anyway, we've got several that exist. They're almost like taking the concept of shopping malls food court, amping it up to 12,
Yeah,
and making it stand by itself.
Yeah, really, really good food. So a lot of what has happened in our town is a lot of food trucks have decided to instead of opening a full-fledged restaurant, standalone restaurant, they're going to the food hall, so you can really get some great food, and then we don't have to eat the same thing.
Yep.
We can kind of
Because our tastes
pick
don't
and choose.
always match.
They
yeah.
don't always match. Sometimes I have dietary restrictions, so
I like sushi. She won't have sushi.
I like
so,
my food cooked,
yeah.
that sort of thing. So, so it gives you kind of that very hip feel of food. And there's no surcharges for the food. So I think that's really smart, because you can really, again, we always end up buying some food package on other cruise lines, and I think this is really a smart way
Yep.
to
Again,
just include it.
Yeah, one of those things that when you're doing the true cost of what your cruise is going to be,
right.
doesn't always show up in the base cost. You're saying, okay, I'm going to pay X amount of dollars. I'm going to pay $2,000 for this cruise.
Right.
Well, by the time you get done adding all these things, you're
Gratuities,
closer in the
your
3,000,
soda
3,500.
package, and
Yeah.
So it can add up, and they've just kind of made that easy for you. And they've made it a much more casual atmosphere, and I think that's a reputation that a lot of cruises get is because it's too formal. You're really discouraged from wearing shorts in the main dining room. They don't really want you in a bathing suit anywhere except for on the pool deck, that sort of thing. So this is going to be a much more casual atmosphere. There's no formal night, although there is a Scarlet Night, which is why I have a red scarf. This will be my red. A splash of red is encouraged for everybody to bring on their Scarlet Night. So
I think that's going to be a controversial piece right there. The formal nights. I think there are going to be some longtime cruisers that aren't going to like that.
I think that is definitely a disruptor in the industry that the traditional cruisers are probably not going to like. But to be honest, I always pack down. One of my other videos that you'll be seeing, or even if you will watch, and that'd be great if you subscribed, is that I don't necessarily always end up in the dining room 7 nights. So I'll bring 7 nights worth of clothes, and I won't wear them because you do have to dress a little nicer. So it's going to be really nice to just. I really think, and I'll definitely do a video on this. I really think I can pack in basically something I could carry on. I probably won't carry it on because I can get a free bag with the airline I'm choosing, but. I want to be able to pack a small amount to bring with me.
Well, you've been honing your packing skills over many cruises.
I have, and I will have a video on that and how to really target the amount of things that they're bringing. Because especially now that when we were in Florida, we didn't really worry about how many bags and how heavy they were. Now that we're having to fly because we live in North Carolina down to all the ports, I have to be much more mindful of things. And again, there'll be a video for that. So no mind dining room to me is pretty great. I think to others will be, but it will be maybe not as excited about. But I think it's a paradigm move, and I really appreciate the kind of the change.
And we're looking forward to getting some good video of the different dining venues and bringing them back here so that you can kind of, before you take your first sail on Virgin Voyages, you can take a look at it and see whether it is something that's for you or whether it's something you're going, I
not
prefer
for
main
me,
dining rooms.
which is totally okay. This will be an adults only cruise, the whole thing, and always over 18, mostly over 21. For some of us who don't have children, that's not a disadvantage. So this would not be the cruise line you would pick for your multi-generational, unless your kids are all over 18. So much like Viking cruises where you have to be over 18, Virgin Voyages will come in at over 18. But unlike Viking, this will be at a much better price point and sailing the Caribbean for just kind of the normal cruiser that wants to just kind of have a lower price point and not maybe quite so stuffy. The Viking maybe a little bit more adult educational focus. This will be a more laid back.
Well, it'll be a little more traditional kind of cruise for the Viking cruise. The sorts of things you think of when you think about old cruises that people used to go on in the 20s and 30s. Those kinds of super fancy cruises.
Yeah, like where you got dressed up for lunch and you hung out on the Lido deck, because that's really all there was to do.
And that can be fun sometimes too.
Sure. But I think this is going to just give a much more hip, much more edgy view to the whole cruising industry. And another thing they're doing is they're bringing on more adult-focused entertainment. And I think that's going to be pretty fun. There's talk of a lot of they've involved some pretty edgy, pretty hip people out of like New York,
production companies,
to bring like multimedia shows. So I think it's going to be pretty cool, pretty innovative, pretty edgy shows.
A lot of cruise lines have their own production crews. Basically, they have their own people who put together the whole show, and stage produce everything. This looks like they went ahead and found subcontractors
Yeah.
that have come in and produced these various different.
It kind of look globally for the best and the brightest and the most edgy and you know, like the now kind of entertainment. So
And probably a little more interactive, I think, than some of the shows that we're used to on
yeah,
cruises.
probably
I think it's gonna
not
be-
just sit back and doze off in your
Yeah.
chair sort of thing. So, another thing they're doing is there's a lot of solo cabins. So, one little dirty little secret that you don't know until you're trying to book a cruise is there's like an upcharge if you're sailing alone, sailing solo, because it's a really everything is based on double occupancy. So if you're a single occupancy, you'll pay from 50 to 100% more if you're a solo traveler. And this will have a lot of single rooms, which I think is amazing and good, so that you don't necessarily have to bunk up with somebody. Hey, you want to go on a cruise? Sure, you
Yeah,
know,
you
with my
can't go
friends or
until you
whatever.
get there,
Yeah.
yeah.
Until you find that extra person, otherwise it'll cost you double. So I think that's really smart. And another thing that they've done that I'm really impressed with is 93% of their cabins have some sort of view of the sea, and that's pretty amazing because a lot of the cabins on a more traditional cruise line are internal cabins with no light at all, no outside light at all, which can be great if you're into sleeping because we've
Or if
had
you like caves.
yeah, because we've had an inside cabin before. Boy, I never got such great sleep because you know it's a cave 24/7, and that can have its place. But we tend to like looking at the sea or either looking at it or sitting on a terrace. So there's a lot of terrace, a lot of
They're gonna have hammocks on the
hammocks on the
terraces, too.
terrace, which are like discouraged on the other lines, but they're gonna just have one for you, so you don't have to.
Because you could hang your own. But
Yeah,
they didn't
but
really
they-
like you doing
but
it.
they don't like that. So another disruptor in the industry. So I think in general, Virgin is just is going to kind of move the paradigm to a kind of opened it up to a lot different set of cruisers than have been traditionally cruising, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think probably people looking for a little bit more of adventure cruise, looking a little bit more immersive, looking more authentic experiences, I think will find themselves really happy on the Virgin. And we right now most of the images that are coming are basically artist rendering, so that's all we're able to kind of show. So as soon as we get our own videos and our own images, we'll definitely be posting those because we're pretty excited.
Yeah,
to
can't wait to
see
see
what
some
they-
live stuff of what the ship actually looks like.
and to come back and talk about our experiences, and we'll probably do some vlogging on the ship while we're there, kind of capturing our excitement and our experiences at the time, and then come back in.
And of course,
coming
you're
back and
welcome to give us
posting.
suggestions on things that you'd like to see. We've still got how
Yeah.
many days?
I think he's in the 50s, still in the 50s. So we've got some time to get some suggestions on things you want to make sure that we look for. So until next time, believe your truth, have great travels, and live well. Bye.